name is Jenny, and I'm a wife and mom raising 2 kids. But I used to live a more glamorous life as a TV reporter. I was on the nightly news interviewing pop stars and politicians. So when I said goodbye to TV and hello to motherhood, I suddenly discovered what we moms are up against. We live in a world that tells us to be rich and famous, thin and successful. You know, almost nobody says, "Oh, hey, you're a mom? That's fabulous." But you are fabulous, and I'm here to tell you why.
It's the Channelmom Show, celebrating you with Jenny Dean Schmidt.
Welcome back to the Channelmom Show, where we are celebrating you on Mile High Sports Radio, Mom. We really are here to help you and encourage you in your life. Let's get right to the next interview, shall we, Shell? Are you okay with that?
I'm ready. This
next interview is going to help you, every parent out there, with what to do over the holidays. Not that we suggest you just go to movies all Christmas break, but it is a fun thing to do with your kids.
We do. We try to hit it.
Yeah, exactly. Holly McClure is a multimedia personality with over 20 years experience in the entertainment industry as a movie critic for the Orange County Register and TBN, also a radio talk show host and a media personality who's appeared on numerous programs like Fox, CNN, MSNBC, Politically Incorrect, and many others for the last decade. She also sent me a little sentence about the fact that she's a movie critic for Parables, and her Holly on Hollywood reviews can be seen on family and faith-based affiliate networks like Daystar, Family, Net, God TV, and others worldwide. So that's so cool. She is here today to help us wade through the plethora of movie offerings this time of year. Welcome, Holly.
Hi, Jenny. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, well, it's our pleasure, my dear. You and I met years ago when you were in Denver for a conference, and I so love the very realistic, family-friendly way in which you tell us about the films that are out there. And it is so hard to wade through it and to know who to trust when they're giving us a review, you know?
Thank you so much. And it is hard. And, you know, the great thing about these days is we have the Internet, which, you know, 5, 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't even as much then. And when I started doing family film reviews in the early 90s on radio, there was hardly anybody talking about family films and really reviewing them for parents. And these days, you know, a PG-13 film can be very, very different. You can have the same rating on 2 very different films. So, yeah, it's important that you have something out there that you can, you know, go to and look. And there are many, many Internet sites, you know, ScreenNet, Kids in Mind. There's so many ones out there. I can't even name them all, but that parents can go to, you know, to see if they need to get references or look. But this Christmas, I'm excited, Jenny, because, you know, in years past, there's been maybe a couple of things you could take your kids to. And as a child, I grew up going to a movie on Christmas. My parents took us, and it was kind of our tradition. We'd open our presents and had a family meal. Then later on, we all went to a movie together. And as we grew into teens and adults, we still kept that tradition, and we love doing it. So I'm excited to see that there's a plethora of movies out there and offerings right now for people who have kids and for people who don't, just want a good movie to go see.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm glad you're going to address both. And also single mommies who may have a different interest than moms who are married. But I would love to have your take. I'm just going to throw a bunch of films out there, and then you just go for it on the ones that you really want to focus on, okay?
Okay.
I went and looked at a list, and I tried to look at ones that were either PGG or PG-13, but you probably have some that I missed. The Iron Lady, We Bought a Zoo, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Chipwrecked, War Horse, Sherlock Holmes, already released, but may still be in theaters, I think, Hugo, The Help, and The Artist. And then finally some Christian movies, Courageous and The Graced Card. And I just want to see, you know, do you have some comments on some of those specific movies? Because I know you do.
I do, and I'm so sorry I didn't give you a more defined list because there are so many. Well, let's cover, first of all, the family films that are out there. You know, you mentioned Hugo, which is a visual treat. It's phenomenal. And, of course, Scorsese did this film. It's probably not a film I would take little ones to. It's long, and it's actually very detailed. It is more than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be like a special effects movie, kind of like Polar Express kind of thing. But it's not as much of that as it is a story. So it's probably not going to keep the attention of your little ones, but it's definitely one, if you took your 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds to, they're going to find fascinating. And it actually is a really interesting film about the history of filmmaking and how it started in Paris. So it's more of a story and more of a film than you think it is. You're going to see that in the Oscars a lot. You're going to see Scorsese up for that film. For family films that are, opening and that are there, I'll tell you, We Bought a Zoo, PG, loved it, interviewed Matt Damon, recently got back from New York, and Cameron Crowe on this. It's a wonderful family film. Now, it's got a few words in it, so I'm going to say that. So, and I wish I could say it's completely clean, word free, but it's not. But the story is so important, and it's such a great story for kids and for family, and that I think, if you can get past a few of the little words there, you can see how the characters grow, and those words are used early on, not by the main characters, but by some others. But you can see how the kids get a great relationship with their father, and they've had the death of their mother, so there's a couple things they've had to overcome, and they buy a zoo, and it's how that zoo and that experience changes all their lives.
Sure.
And so that's a good one that'll be opening up Christmas Day. The War Horse, oh my gosh, Steven Spielberg has outdone himself. I love this movie. Again, not probably for the little ones, just because it's not graphic war scenes. In fact, he doesn't really show blood when it goes to, the fighting. You see fighting, but you're not seeing graphic things like you did in Saving Private Ryan. Yeah. But it's a wonderful film. Visually, like you're watching kind of Gone with the Wind, like it's the old Hollywood mixed in with a new Hollywood.
Okay.
PG-13, so again, the war sequences is why. So it's probably going to be older kids. But it's one of those films you're going to walk out, and I mean, I cried, you laugh. Anyone who loves horses is going to love this movie.
Okay. And
it just touches the heart. So again, a wonderful story that does that. And then as far as Alvin, other movies, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Tintin. Spielberg it's interesting, this Christmas he has two films, Tintin and The War Horse. And Tintin is, again, like watching the Polar Express, kind of visually rated PG, adventure for the whole family, and that's absolutely, going to captivate everyone. And the dogs are going to love that, and the visuals are breathtaking. So, again, a wonderful thing that will get the younger crowd, too, in there if you want something for the younger ones.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the movies out there, Happy Feet 2, wonderful. It's been out, this weekend. Alvin and the Chipmunks just came out. Fun, and how can kids go wrong with that? Arthur Christmas has been out for a couple weeks, but that's also out there for them. More for the adults, if you're wanting to get into something, Sherlock Holmes, Mission Impossible opened up this week. Stunning. Mission Impossible, 96% of critics love this movie. It's just breathtaking is really what you can say.
So it's not getting tired? It's not that same old Mission Impossible thing? We're not getting tired of that? Is it got something new going on?
You're not getting tired. And it's new special effects that I've never seen before. They filmed it in Dubai and all over, actually, in India and other parts. But the scenes in Dubai are absolutely breathtaking on the world's tallest building. And it's very interesting. And again, not so graphic, but it's just got amazing special effects and feats. And
what about The Iron Lady? What about that sort of biopic about Margaret Thatcher? How
you know what? She's breathtaking, but it's slow. I love her. I love her acting. You're going to see her up for Oscars this year for that. Everyone's talking to Oscar buzz about that. It's just slower. So, I mean, adults are going to love it. Any history buffs are going to love it. It's an interesting perspective on her. And, of course, Meryl Streep gets lost in her characters and she becomes Margaret Thatcher. So you just are absorbed in her. So wonderful performance. So for adults who want to see an adult film, yes, that would definitely be one of them. And also The Descendants, George Clooney's film. If you haven't seen that, kind of interesting. You mentioned single moms. I'm a single mom. I've been for years. So I always had to kind of take that into consideration. And I appreciate when there's films that touch on a single parent. And this film definitely touches on that. And,
but it's rated R, right?
Yeah, it's got language in it, so it is not for kids, and it's not for adults who'd be offended by some language. It takes place in Hawaii, and the story of how his wife is in an accident and then goes into a coma, and how he's dealing with the two daughters that he really doesn't know because he's been traveling so much. And then he finds out other things that happened about the marriage and some things that he has to deal with. And so it's this coming of age for him and for his children. But boy, poignant scenes in there of forgiveness and acceptance, and so very, very dramatic in that.
Yeah.
And that, but again, for adults, if you're going to want something, I mean, The War Horse, you can't go wrong with that.
Sure. I just want to make sure I touch on something, and I also want Shelley to maybe get a word in here. Any sort of films that we don't know a lot about, sort of art films, or as I said, some of the Christian films, are there some things out there that people might not have heard of that are in theaters they might not know of that you would recommend?
Well, you mentioned The Artist, and The Artist is an amazing film, but it's black and white, and it's silent. So I don't know if people know that. And it's again, you're going to see lots of nominations. The critics are going crazy over it. So, the critics are like really, going nuts because it's an artiste film and they love it. But I just want to let people know that so that if they go thinking, oh, this is a story in black and white, but it's, it's a silent film and it's about silent film characters. Visually stunning. Really, the acting is great, but it's not necessarily what people think. Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. I don't know if anyone would want to go see it. Everyone's talking about it, but again, graphic and
not
interested. Not the kind of movie you'd want. Is Courageous? I don't know what theaters that's still in and for people's areas. Of course, I loved Courageous, and it's an amazing film. And, it was something that if people can go see, it's life-changing. Okay. And I think that I know it's in some theaters still, but it's starting to go out in many of the areas. So it may be in the smaller theaters that they can still see. Yeah. Like if you see the movie now, in some areas it's going to open extremely loud, incredibly close. It's Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock. Yeah. And it's about the 9/11 and how Tom Hanks is the father and goes into the building on 9/11, and it's what the mother, Sandra Bullock, and her son go through. It may not be like I said, opening in all markets. It's one of those films that is amazing to watch, but it's kind of hard to watch, and it's an important story, but it's kind of a heavy story.
Sure.
Of course, Tom Hanks dies, so I just want to prepare people. It's not
thank you. And let me ask you this. Both Shelley and I have discussed this. Hollywood tends to have a trend of dumb or dead when it comes to parents. Either a parent dies or they're dumb, and the kids throughout the movie are kind of teaching the parents a lesson because, once again, the parents have to learn that you shouldn't be materialistic and you shouldn't work too much and so on and so forth. I'm kind of curious what you think about Hollywood these days. Do they have some movies out there with respectable parents or parents who are still alive, or have they changed their tone at all when it comes to family and, good old-fashioned values? What do you think?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and yes, there are some films, especially this season, that I've noticed that it's got that. We Bought a Zoo. He's not a dumb parent. In fact, the kids kind of disrespect him. The son does, thinking he is, and as the movie progresses, and there are some poignant scenes where he reaches out to his son and his daughter, and then they see what their father does, how he took a dream and he went and he makes it happen. Yeah. And there's a huge amount of respect that by the end of the movie you see that arc, that coming of realizing what their father has done for them, and it's a beautiful relationship. The Descendants, again, one of those movies where he's disconnected from his kids at first, and through conversation and dialogue, each of them learn about their father. The girls see their father take a stand and be an amazing father and reach out in love after some things happen. So, again, a great arc in the characters and that coming up. So, yes, I know what you mean, especially like in comedies and things, even in your little movies that like Happy Feet, too. You know what I mean? Yeah. The kids are kind of smart comments and whatever, but again, it's that arc of seeing the parents and what they come to. So it's getting better. I know what you mean. In some of the comedies it is that way, but no, I see it getting better. War Horse, a beautiful story of the relationship with the mother-son and how she believes in her son and she encourages him and his respect for his father. It's a period piece, but it has both relationships in there. So I see it, and it's getting better.
Holly, we only have a minute left, so why don't you tell people how they can get a hold of your reviews or any other reviews that you would recommend online?
Yes, Parables Network is, so parablestv.com. If you go on there, we're revising our website, so please have patience with us right now, but we're starting to post my reviews and show the affiliates that we're on, which is like Daystar, FamilyNet, NRB, God TV. There's a list of them that are there. Also, you can go to hollymcclure.com and contact me, and I'd be glad to put you in touch with several sites if you need, more reviews that I don't have or suggestions. But Jenny, thank you so much for having me on and letting me be a part of this. I love doing this, especially for the holidays, and keep the tradition going, people. Go see films with your kids and make it a family tradition. It's a fun thing to do for Christmas.
Yes, carry on the Holly McClure tradition. Holly, we thank you for your great insight and knowledge, and we'll have you back sometime. Okay, you are listening to the Channel Mom Show. That was Holly McClure with some great movie reviews, and that was good for both you and me, Shell. I know you plan to take your kids to the movie, so that's cool. Okay, coming up, if you're a professional mom working outside the home or a single mom, you got needs. We're going to talk about them. Coming up, my friend and former colleague, a face that you would probably recognize. She was a mainstay on Denver TV for many years. Ginger Delgado is going to be here to talk about being a professional working mom and single at the same time. Stay tuned for some very honest discussion.
Be happy.